Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to Just for Fun. This is Matt. If you haven't watched me before, I have about 800 videos. Go back and watch some if you like this. We're gonna do something a little different tonight. Recently, I've had like a streak of inspiration, and I made like I don't know, somewhere between 5 and 10 new decks. I went a little crazy. I didn't count, but um, yeah, so I'm not sure what to record with. Probably I'll record with all of them, I guess. But I'm going to show you quickly each of them, and I don't know. I don't know what order to do it in. I don't know what you want to see the most. So um, maybe what I'll do is I'll post this video with, and I'll show you all the different decks, and you can tell me which one you want to see first, and I'll post the videos of that one first. How about that? So, without further ado, we have some standard decks, some modern decks, and some legacy decks. So, um, this standard is, I guess, pre-rotation standard. So, Kaladesh is not out yet, and whatever the version of standard was before that. So, um, I made some budget standard decks before the format rotates. I made three. I made a black, a green, and a white. So the white deck is Angels. Now, when I say budget, I mean each of these decks cost me less than 20 tickets. I think 20 bucks is a fairly cheap budget for a deck. To be honest, I think they were maybe even less than 15. So really cheap to get started on Magic Online, have a fun deck. This is pretty competitive, considering that it's a budget deck. It works really well. This is a mono white control deck, which is a little different, and it doesn't. At first glance, you might not think that because it's got some 1-drops and 2-drops and stuff, right? So Thraben Inspector, everything at the bottom end of everything 3 or less here is to stall, right? Because what you're trying to do here is get out these big dumb cards up here and win that way. How do we do that? So Thraben Inspector as a speed bump, Knight of the White Orchid to ramp, and Great Blocker. Bunch of random removal spells: Silk Wraps, Glare, Deck, Blessed Alliance, Purge, Angelic Purge, I think was Flavor Win. Which actually works really well with Silk Wrap and Stasis Snare, because, like, let's say you use one of these on a token, you can still get value out of sacking it. Or let's say you use it on a small creature in the beginning, and then they play some big bomb, and you're like, oh, fuck, why did I use my Stasis Snare early? Well, then you can play Angelic Purge after and kill whatever the big thing is. One Thalia first of all, I'm really impressed with this card. This card plays way better than it looks, and it's great in Modern. I can't get over how good it is. Just in an aggro deck, your opponent tries to stabilize by playing a blocker, and it comes into play tapped, and it can't block the first turn. You're just pouring on the pressure. So speaking of that, this card is totally busted. I think everybody forgot that this was in standard, because it just, like, totally fucks at everything your opponent is trying to do. Attacking, blocking, everything. It just fucks up the whole situation. Gisela is just a super powerful card, and we are playing Bruna for the other half of the combo to assemble Brizella. It's very easy to do because we're playing 4 Thalia's Lancers. So whichever one you draw, you Thalia's Lancers to search for the other one. And then if you play Gisela, it's bound to get killed because it's a must deal with threat. If it doesn't get killed, you're probably just going to win. If not, if it gets killed, play Bruna, animate it, get the Brizella thing, you win. You play this, you get this out, you're going to win. Most likely. Thalia's Lancers also can search up Thalia for a flavor win. Hix's, another forgotten about card from Magic Origins. Seems like so long ago, right? Just, nice kind of like mass removal spell, and Marius Shepherd is like another combo sort of way to get back, any of the other creatures here. So just a really fun deck. I enjoy it a lot, and it's pretty good. Okay, here's the second of 3 budget standard decks. This is Mono Black Eldrazi. 24 land, a bunch of colorless lands to enable some colorless stuff. Did not go with the obvious Thought Not Seer and Reality Smasher because #budget reasons. Again, wanted these to be budget decks. Not so much that I can't, because right now I'm doing good. I can buy whatever the fuck I want. No. Yeah, for budget reason, I wanted to make some budget decks. So this deck is really great. It's so much fun to play. Sludge Crawler is probably the worst card in the deck, but it scales really well. And I wanted to play the 2 black Emerge guys. Abundant Maw, which really reminds me a lot of Siege Rhino. Like, it has the same enter the battlefield ability. It's great when you're ahead. It's great when you're behind. It catches you up a little and leaves you with a big fatty they have to deal with. 4 toughness is a lot easier to deal with than 5. However, 6 power bashes in there pretty well. And this thing, which is gross, you get back the downside of the Emerge, sacrificing your thing by immediately 2-for-1ing your opponent, likely removing like a removal spell and a threat, and leaving a 5/5 in play, and it's just, it's brutal. This is a brutal play. Oblivion Strike for like fun, flavor removal. Transgress is another way to exile stuff. The first reason why I was big on these is that originally I was playing, what's it called? Wasteland Strangler in the main, but I decided to go with the Matter Shaper instead because it works so well with Emerge. Sacrificing this is just great because you probably get something free anyway. This card has really impressed me. The drawback, it's like they're still spending a removal spell to get rid of it. Like, most of the time people don't have targeted stuff that's not removal. Like, that ability is worse in what's it called, in limited than it is in constructed, but it just comes back for more. It's really cool. Mimic, which isn't super powerful in this deck because there's not that many. There's only like, there's 16 things that are bigger than it, so I guess that's okay. Bearer of Silence, just power 2-for-1 a lot of the time. And Transgress, just great disruption. So, Blighted Fen in the main for extra removal. It's very fun to play. And obviously I really stuck to flavor on this pretty hard. So, second budget standard deck. Okay, the third budget standard deck I built this week was Decimator of the Provinces. So, if you've watched my deck building video, which if you haven't, go back and watch it, you fucker. You'll know that one of the things I do is I look through the sets and I find a card that I find interesting and I just build around the card. So this is exactly what I did. I said, how can I make this into a win when I cast this? So the thought was twofold. It was tokens and mana dorks, right? So we want to ramp up to the Emerge cost of 9. And how we're going to do that? So playing all three mono green Emerge dudes, right? Mockery, Colin Mockery of Nature as like the world's biggest reclamation stage. It's of the Arid Swarm as a very British threat. So this is the thing that makes the whole deck work. Eyeless Watcher. Basically, you want to like cast this on, turn 3, hopefully, off of a 2 mana dork. Cast this on turn 3. Then that'll enable you on turn 4 to cast any of these things. Leaving the 2 tokens behind works great with the Decimator. That converts to extra damage. Scion Summoner is there as just, you know, another token. Good thing, another good thing to sack. Foul Emissary, way to pick up the Decimator and then sack it, get value of a 3/2. Shaman is a way to get up there with the ramp. So three ramp dorks. You know, 3 enablers, 3 payoffs, and the big pig here is usually a payoff for the win. 12, 12, 12, 24, really simple deck. Really fun to play. Very consistent. It's not fast. I think the fastest I've won is like turn 6, which is pretty slow. But you know, when I do win, I'm one-shotting people. This is not a chip damage. I mean, you could play it that way, but mostly this is a I want to kill you from 20. And I find that very fun when I get to kill somebody straight from 20 life. So, winning out of nowhere. I wanted to put a Kessig Dire Swine in here for flavor, you know, because it would really be perfect with this, but whatevs, it didn't make the cut. So anyway, deck 3, Big Pig, Stompy. So please vote in the comments which one you want to see me record with first. That's for standard. I'm going to come back with a recording for modern and one with legacy.